Hello, welcome to the ML&S podcast, episode 5. I'm Jonathan Sawyer, M0JSX, and he
is Gary, M0TIG, and that's definitely not my surname.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
You say that every week. I'm starting to believe it is.
No, this is the second time I said it. I said it in episode 1, I think.
You did say it in episode. Thinking about it, you did say it in episode 1. Hello.
How's your house?
Hello from a new studio. Hello from the loft.
The loft, which has been full of teething troubles, we can tell you.
Yeah, I've had to change my mic settings about 4 or 5 times.
And your camera position.
And my camera position. And I'm still not entirely sure I'm happy with either.
All right, okay.
But we're going to run with it. We're just going to go with it.
Go for it.
We're going to go with it.
Do you want to do newsy things?
We can do newsy.
Have you missed the newsy things?
I missed the newsy things. Should we do some newsy things? Let's start, Gary, with the Royal Australian Air Force. Their 100-year centenary, and they're going to have a couple of special event call signs happening around it. VK100AF and VI100AF. Celebrating, 100 years of the Royal Australian Air Force. VK100AF will be active between the 1st of March and the 31st of August, and VI100AF will be active between the 1st of March and the 29th of May. What's nice is that the VI100 one will be used by radio amateurs that are either current or veteran military personnel, and some activities maybe from military bases. So if you hear that call sign on, that's definitely the one to work, I think.
Okay, yeah, well, definitely. Not that we get into VK land very often.
No, we don't. No, early morning on 40 meters tends to be quite good.
Yeah,
yeah.
I've never managed it from my location.
on the drive into work on 40 meters of a morning, there's normally a good spattering of strong Europeans working VK and ZL, and on occasion I can copy some of them.
All right,
all of them,
okay. Do you think they got good aerials?
I'm thinking they're making the propagation themselves.
Oh, all right, okay.
That's my belief.
All right. Well, also I've over the last sort of couple of weeks, I noticed in the news there's actually been some snow in Texas. Is that normal, having snow in Texas?
I don't think snow in Texas is particularly normal. This is that the ARRL Amateur Radio Emergency Service, or ARES as they call it, and the American Red Cross volunteers joined forces in Texas under the ARRL Red Cross Memorandum of Understanding in responding to the situation resulting from unseasonably frigid weather. It got cold, quite cold across large parts of the states, and Texas saw, I think in some parts of Texas they saw as much as like 2 feet of snow, which is almost unheard of that far south.
Well, I did actually see on a couple of the YouTube vloggers that it had snowed so hard that their roofs had actually failed, and snow had actually sort of obviously leaked in, and it flooded the house and stuff. So I think was that the 8-bit guy. I think it was the 8-bit.
The 8-bit guy. I saw the 8-bit guy on YouTube. He it wasn't actually that his roof had fallen or anything like that. It's that one of his pipes had burst.
Oh no!
In sort of inside the house, and that's what had caused it. Because obviously in Texas they don't expect to have such cold temperatures.
No.
That they don't have all the sort of insulation that you might find in other parts of the States, and certainly over here in the UK, because it just doesn't get cold. Winter doesn't happen. So I think it wasn't the only one. I think that happens.
If we've got any sort of Texas, viewers or listeners, let us know your stuff.
N5. Oh, SKT? I want to say SKT. I might be completely wrong. It's definitely N5 something.
All right, brilliant. Okay,
he definitely watches us.
Now, you reminded me earlier on of this EMC malarkey.
Yes, so it's been in the news for, it feels like forever now, doesn't it?
It
But
does, yeah.
Ofcom have now added the EMC clause to amateur radio licenses. It will actually come into force no later than the 18th of May, and there will be at least a 6-month grace period to comply. Among the consultation respondents quoted in Ofcom announcement was Raynet, talking about activities out in the field. You can see the full thing. I'm not going to go into the full thing because it's quite long, but you can see the full thing on Southgate, for instance, southgatearc.org, and you can read the whole thing there. But basically, Ofcom have acknowledged that their EMF calculator tool will, in most cases, overestimate the separation distance, and in addition, it is not suitable for use below 10 megahertz. So they're admitting a slight flaw with their calculator there.
Okay.
And also bear in mind is that the frequencies and power levels that most amateurs operate at and on, it's unlikely to be of any particular cause, but it is worth noting. It is now part of our licensing conditions that we do have to bear it in mind. Okay,
well, that's interesting. So we'll see what comes of that. I just hope that it's all sorted out by the time it all sort of lands, and there's sort of something absolutely concrete in place that we can rely on as bona fide in the way of a calculator.
Absolutely.
So I don't, I'd hate to sort of see people sort of saying, well, I've done as much as I can and it's not good enough.
No, absolutely right.
That would be nasty. You also mentioned a little bit about Brazil radio licensing issues.
Yeah, so the Brazilian Amateur Radio Society, LABRE, L-A-B-R-E, has written to the communications regulator Anatel, expressing their concern about the bureaucratic problems in becoming a radio amateur. This all stems from the fact that they've launched new online tests, which is supposed to speed up the process of getting an amateur radio license in Brazil. But there's issues in the sort of online portal system, which Anatel use in order to issue licenses, which is causing delays, and obviously it means that people are not able to get their license in order to operate when they've passed their exam. So it kind of echoes what's been happening over here, doesn't it, in some respects?
Yeah. Well, I mean, because I've actually got in the notes here that we've actually seen quite a boost in ham radio numbers, which is really, really good. And the RSGB have actually released some figures. I mean, down here, is it, if I'm getting this correct, something like 3,087 people, took the exam, and there were 2,774 passes in just the foundation alone, and it went up to sort of something like 868 exam taken, and with 759 passes of the intermediate, and the full, that was 378 candidates, exams taken, and 258 passes, which that's pretty amazing, isn't it, really? So I'm sorry that that Brazil has sort of seen, some hassles. That's not so good, really, is it? We really want to make this really happen.
Yeah, it's fantastic, and it's nice to see that amongst all the doom and gloom that we've had of the last year, there has been some positivity. In it.
Of course.
And I mean, obviously, Gary, you and I know sort of firsthand how busy it's been over the last year in terms of amateur radio.
Yeah.
We are in that very weird situation where we're right at the cold face of amateur radio, and and those numbers of those new, particularly those 2,774 new foundation license holders, that's a lot. That is a lot for a year.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? I mean, because how many M7s have we sort of seen in the last year? It's just been amazing. So many, and it's really nice to see. And majority of them are absolutely fab, people as well. So it's really good, absolutely fantastic. I mean, it's the full exam, I mean, they're putting down here that they're very pleased to see that there are some sort of increasing sort of figures for the full exam. That kind of then really, I suppose, Martin and I spoke about it last week about the zero to hero exam, and it was about 2.5 hours, I think, something like that. I mean, that's a lot of time, isn't it?
It
Was
is.
it 70 questions, 60 or 70 questions?
That's the proposal, and
Yeah,
Essex Ham have got some brilliant stuff on this, and
yeah,
I was reading some of it. They've also got a little bit of a sort of a survey as well, to sort of gather opinion, because Essex Ham, it's free to be a member of Essex Ham if you're not, and you want to be, you can be a member of Essex Ham, and I am as well, and they're sort of gathering opinion from their membership in order to present to the RSGB on the proposal, and actually I think that in some respects, I think that the zero to hero thing is a fantastic idea. In much the same respect, having gone through the way that the US license amateurs, where you can do the same thing. Okay, in the States you have to sit every level of exam, and provided you pass one, you can then go to the next one. So you in one exam session you could go from zero to extra. I think that there needs to be some kind of parity between the two systems, and I think that the practical element has now been scrapped for the intermediate, which whether you're for or against it is kind of by the by. It's happened, but certainly the practical elements will return to the foundation after the pandemic is long out of the way. So I think to say that as someone who's gone from zero to full doesn't have to do those practical elements as part of sort of the foundation, I personally think is a little wrong, and I think that should be incorporated somewhere along the lines. But I can certainly see the advantage of, if you're from an electronics or mathematical background, I can certainly see the advantage of wanting to go out and get a full license. And I think actually, I know a number of people who the sort of 3 tiers put them off. So I think it's definitely the RSGB trying to sort of capture everybody. And I think that's a good thing. I don't think it's perfect the way they've announced it, but I think it's certainly they've got a lot of it right.
Okay. Well, as I say, I'd like to see how it's all gonna pan out. I just, well, we'll see, won't we? Time will tell, and all that sort of stuff. So, but it's really good that they're really on the ball, and well done RSGB for doing that. It's always, again, it's good to see. Some sad news. Fry's Electronics is shutting down. I mean, I've never been there, but it's always sad to hear when you hear sort of like a big business like that is going. Apparently they've been around for 36 years. That's quite a long time, isn't it, really? And apparently it was a bit of an institution. So again, it's sad to sort of see. Maybe if anyone's been there, let us know. That would be really, really good. And apparently the shelves were emptying pretty much up to the run up. But it's just unfortunately, it's the good old pandemic that has sealed the deal there, I believe.
Yeah, another victim of the pandemic.
Yeah, unfortunately. Now then, last week, Martin and I spoke about, what did we speak about? We spoke about a few things. Through the Waves, it was some filmmakers were looking for some funding to produce a film, a 10-minute film about the guy that actually heard the Titanic SOS, or their sort of signal that they 3,000 miles away apparently, and no one believed him. Now a couple of people have commented on that, and one of them was Andrew, which was is MW0LAO. He said, could we give Blackwood Radio Club a mention, as they actually ran the story or ran the event or something like that. I can't really I did look into it. So well done the Blackwood Radio Club who did that. That was really, really good. So hopefully we'll see what comes of it. I look forward to seeing the film, the end result. And Derek Taffman commented that that I managed to get the Ponty Clan Fraith correct. So if I did get it right, and I'm not sure I have, all right. So, but apparently he used to live there many years ago. So there you go.
All I know is that most people say that double L, as a well, it's not a cl, it's more like so like Llanelli is Llanelli. So I'm reading that as Pontlanfraith. But right, I could be completely wrong.
It's probably best not to try.
Yeah.
Now then, new IC 7300 firmware. If anyone's lived under a brick for the last week, the 7300 firmware.
I've got some bricks now.
I know, I can see that. They're very good. I think you should get a purple light on them and do the YouTube styly. So that's what it should be. You need some of those metallic shells in the background and a purple light.
What you can't see, Gary, is I've got another brick at the other end of the loft. I'm thinking a massive neon sign on it would look really good.
Peter McKinnon styly.
Yeah. Sorry, IC 7300. You were saying?
Yes. Anyway, so firmware 1.4. Now I know that you've done yours and you like it.
It's fantastic. I think one of the biggest things for me when I got the 705 was the fact that this multi-knob does the 1K tuning steps.
Right.
And when I went back to the 7300, which is under the DX cover here, available from us, I really noticed myself go for that. It doesn't do it. So for me, you can take out the FT8 preset. You can take out the added band edges on the scope. You can take out the scrolling mode on the scope as well. I'm so pleased they've now put that 1K tuning steps onto the multi-knob. That is the feature I think is undervalued in this firmware update that I think a lot of people are going to go, finally.
Fair enough. Right. Well, and there's some other sort of interesting stuff as well, which has sort of suddenly, slowly been released from Yaesu. There is a new microphone to replace the very, very popular MD100, which everyone was very sad to see that go. I think when the MD100 dropped off of the thing, that was a sad day because it was a jolly good mic.
It was
and very popular, good value for money.
Fantastic. I had one when I had my 450. Fantastic mic. I did. I did. I bought.
They're very, very popular now.
Yeah,
so
I bought one second hand from a particular dealer somewhere located in Staines.
Okay then.
Before I worked there.
Lucky you. Yeah. Now then, and also there are rumblings from ICOM and the IC52.
I think you mean ID52.
Oh, do I?
You do mean ID. You do mean ID. You mean ID52.
I will correct that in my notes. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
There are rumblings that they are now resuming shipping.
Excellent.
So I think it will be obviously as usual Japan first, and then we'll start to see them sort of filtrate the rest of the world.
Yes, and let's be honest, it was only a matter of time before they got things moving again. Obviously, if you haven't heard by now, there was a fire at a component manufacturer in Japan that happened in about October last year, which slowed everything down. And it's not just been ICOM that's been affected, it's been a whole heap of electronics manufacturers across the board.
I did hear actually that I think parts of Kenwood for their parts of Kenwood for their hi-fi equipment or their car stuff was affected, and also Panasonic cameras.
Exactly.
I did hear some things.
It was across the board. It was things you wouldn't even expect as well. For components to all coming out of the same factory. But but that was the reason for it sort of stopping and not proceeding as we hope. But let's it looks like they're slowly getting back to getting back into production, and yeah.
Okay, well that's good stuff. So we've got a couple of new things then. The M70 to replace the MD100, and now good news that the ID52 is on its way. Sorry guys, there is still no news on the PW2. No. If that is the next question you're going to come out with, we don't know.
No, we don't. No, we don't.
Now then, do you want to pick something from the questions?
Oh, let's have a look. See. Let's have a look.
There's one or two there. And that's some of these actually are still Richard's sort of comedy ones.
Yes. Well, so let's start off with the comedy one. Is it true that the power from my radio is pushed into the antenna where the electricity wobbles about a bit before it falls out in all directions?
That's got to be a Richard one.
That is definitely a Richard one. Here's a serious one. I'm interested in particularly the 10-meter band. Would a half-wave vertical or a half-wave dipole be more efficient? Semantics, really. Because a half-wave vertical, depending on how you feed it, would perform as a dipole. So you're not going to get any gain advantage one over the other. I suppose that the real question you're asking there is which would be better to have it vertically polarized or horizontally polarized. And that's going to come down really to the propagation type or propagation. What's the one I'm looking for, Gary?
I don't know.
The type of propagation that you're currently experiencing. If you're relying on something like sporadic E, then it probably won't matter whether you're vertically or horizontally polarized. Because what tends to happen with sporadic E is when signals enter the E layer, they tend to get twisted and distorted, and it's very unlikely that the polarization that the signal started off at is going to be the same polarization that it finishes at. It's going to get all twisted and mangled. When it comes to, if you're relying on the maximum usable frequency drifting up in terms of HF propagation, then potentially, if a DX, a vertical might be better because you have a low angle of radiation if you can't get a horizontal antenna high enough. But to be honest, on 10 meters, it'd be quite easy to get an antenna.
Yeah, and I did also read that somewhere that the sun cycle was kind of started, and they're starting to notice some changes in 10 meters.
Yeah,
how true that is, I've not noticed any changes my end, but it definitely looks like things are on the up, and hopefully it'll go back to what it was a few years back when I was a teenager. In fact, when 10 meters quite lively. So yeah, it's not been quite so lively of late.
It's not been.
No. Now then, one of the other thing is, there's one there. Look, what does 73s mean? And is it singular or plural? Do I just say 73 or 73s? Now this one, I think, is you just say 73. I'm not so sure 73s is correct.
Yeah, that is correct. It is.
It sounds a little bit sweet and sickly, 73s, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah, it is singular, 73. It simply means best wishes.
Fair enough.
Here's one that just caught my eye, and I've lost it now. Where did I put it?
I don't know.
Where did I put it? It was there somewhere. It was basically it was about I can't remember the exact question, but the question was along the lines of what would a good antenna be for talking to a simplex gateway? I think that's what it was. I've lost it on my screen now, but essentially, any antenna. It depends how far you've got to go. Just because you're going into a simplex gateway doesn't mean that the RF's got to travel any further. Or
no, it all depends. Well, it depends how far the gateway is away.
Exactly.
If it's your own personal sort of gateway, a dummy load.
A dummy load. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah. Just anything you like.
Anything
you found it yet?
No,
you're still looking. It's personal now, isn't it?
It is. No, I can't see it.
Now,
go on.
I was going to say, actually, I've got a little note in there. I may have said something wrong.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is this
I
a
think
correction
it was
segment?
correction section. That actually rhymes, doesn't it?
Mm.
No, I may have got a bit mixed up on episode 3 when I was talking about the flex. I may have actually, for some unknown reason, I had super het in my head. I may have actually said it, but it isn't. It's actually they were direct. The early ones were direct. Oh gosh, now it's gone again. The later ones were direct sampling, and the early ones were direct. No, it's gone. It's gone, absolutely gone. And
You've got.
Yeah, that's an age thing.
So here are your prompts that you've written down. You've written.
Go on.
Flex SDR.
Yep.
Direct conversion. Narrow.
That's the one. Yes, and it was because I did a little video a while back on Gaz Labs thing about one of the best value little SDRs available, which was the little Flex 1500. It's such good value, really. If you see them come up second hand, grab one. But it's only 48k, and they're actually direct conversion, and it's very, very narrow. You can't get a good grab of that. But the later ones are direct sampling. I think it's about 10 megs of bandwidth. So I may have got that wrong. It's an age thing. I had a brain wobble.
No problem. No, well, we'll forgive you guys.
Yeah. Oh, thanks.
We'll forgive
it's
you.
Kind.
That's all right. One final question here.
Go
on. This is from Michael,
Right.
VO1AX.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, I'm new to the channel, and I'm going to be purchasing the Yaesu FTDX10. What kind of SD card is required? I think a micro SD class 10's the one I need. Also, could you review and perhaps do an on-air demo of this? We've already done that. If you look back at our channel, you can find sort of a sort of on-air demonstration of the FTDX10. There's lots out there as well. I think one of the YouTubers, Ham Radio Concepts, did a really good on-air video of the DX10. In terms of the SD card you need, any SD card will do, pretty much. I think 32 gigs is your upper limit on the DX10, but...
Do you know what? I have noticed a little thing with SD cards. They're getting harder to get now, and anything under 32 gigs.
Yeah.
16 gigs is probably
I'm not sure what
as small as you can get now. What's in yours? It's got to be a class 10, isn't it?
In my 7300, I have no class 3.
Is it?
I have a class 3, 16 gigabyte. That's not going to come off on camera at all. But
oh, it does. It does just about.
There you go. That's what's in mine.
Oh, that's cute, isn't it? And for those listening on the podcast, you can't actually see the SD card.
See the SD card.
Yeah, exactly.
I think my 705 has a 32 gig in it. I think.
Okay. Well, I think we pretty much reached the end of this episode. It's not been quite as lively as normal. We've had a few technical issues earlier on, which is we've got to get back into the flow. Jonathan's got to get his studio all set up.
I've got to get it sorted. I think I'm mostly there. We're also recording. We normally record on like a Sunday morning. I have to say, it's now 20 to 10 at night after a busy day at work.
And it has been busy.
It has
today.
been a busy day at work.
Yeah, there were tempers flaring and everything.
I've seen Gary all day, and now I've sat down of an evening and I'm seeing him again.
We're still talking and laughing, so it's always good.
Must be all right.
Yeah. So anyway, if you've managed to listen this far, thank you.
Well done.
Well done. We will get back on. We will get back onto a lively one. Probably it'll be next week. We'll start recording now. Are we going to go back to Sunday recording?
I'll let you know. I'll let you know on that one.
Well, don't forget also in one of the upcoming episodes, I won't say which one because we don't actually know at the moment. I think it is Arved. Is it?
Yes, Arved.
It is Arved. Right now, is he the guy that won the 991?
Yes. So you probably saw this. Tony did this while I was away, but Arved won the. So during December, there's December Yota month. and each country puts on a special event call sign. And Arvid was the youngster across the whole of Europe to get the most number of contacts with as many YOTA stations as possible. And as a prize, we were given an FT991, and we passed that on to Arvid as the winner of sort of the competition. No one knew we were doing that in advance, by the way. This is a thing we kept secret to ourselves. And when the sort of the league table was produced, we then contacted Arvid, who was very willing to take an FT991 off our hands.
So anyway, interestingly, he's really also into QO100.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So that'll be good. I've had a listen to QO100 via via Goonhilly, as anybody can do. But I've never got onto it myself, so that'd be quite an interesting also.
Yeah, and he's very knowledgeable about it. He's built quite a lot of the kit himself.
Oh, excellent.
As well. So that's really, really good. I had a quick chat with him this evening, and he's keen to sort of jump on. So excellent. What we've got to try and do is we've got to try and somehow engineer the slot to get everyone together. So be the three of us.
Yes.
Hopefully.
No problem at all. We can get that sorted, I'm sure.
We can do it. Anyway, right. I think. Do you want to close up?
Yeah, let's close out there. Thanks very much for watching and listening. If you are watching this on our YouTube channel, then don't forget there'll be another new pre-recorded video on Friday as our something for the weekend. There's also the weekend webcast, which is done live on a Saturday afternoon. I'm on that this week, so apologies in advance. We'll hope my phone doesn't stop halfway through this time. So look out for that as well. And the best way to get notified when we go live, when we upload a new video as well, is to be a subscriber of our YouTube channel and also click the bell notification as well. And I think you've got to like, share, and comment. Is that what YouTube is saying out? You're a YouTuber, I'm not.
Well, yeah, you do say something like that. Oh, and you've got to click the bell thing.
Click the bell thing. So hang on, I'm going to try somewhere there. There. It might be over there. I think it's there.
Yeah, is that for the podcast listeners?
Yeah,
it's somewhere around.
It's somewhere here, and up there. There's a card. I don't know how this works. Right. I think Henry has to do something now. Up there, there's a card.
So the more you point around, the more work he's got to do.
Yeah.
So I think we better go.
Okay. Bye.
Thanks for listening, watching. See you soon.
Bye.